Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm working some more on the ideas that you've left me in comments, and today's has come from a couple of people. I'll just read who they are, and it is Lynn ONeill and Diane Sample. Now Lynn would like me to do some journal covers, so I'm going to enhance this one some more, and Diane would like to see journal cover decorations, so I think that covers those two. I've got a couple more people who want to see journal covers, but it's really more specific, so I thought just generically I'll do some journal covers. This is the beginner's book that I made, and I'm enhancing further. I did the pop-up the other day, so if you haven't watched that video, go back and watch that. And the cover I'm going to enhance. So initially I was just going to leave this here, but now I've decided that I will put down something more on the cover. Now I had some bits, here it is, found it. So I've got this, which came from the same papers. These are the Stamperia papers called Grand Hotel, and that's what I made the journal from, that and other things. And I want to put some pockets on the front. I haven't really done this before, but I thought this would be good to challenge myself with your suggestions. So I have cut these, and they are 6 inches wide. I want to put some notches in them, of course, because I like to put notches. So I'm just going to measure that and mark it, and then do some notching with my tool. Here it is. Just getting my circle punch out. I'll lay them on top of one another so my notches end up in roughly the same place. I think it'll cut through 2 layers of paper. It should. Anyway, some of your suggestions have been really great. In fact, all of them are really great. Some of them are more challenging than others, let me just say that. But I'm working my way through them, and I will keep going until I complete them all. And any other suggestions you may have as well, feel free to leave me a comment against any video with a suggestion. So a quick ink on the edges of the paper, I think will be in order, just because it will really highlight that notch as well against there, because it's all the same sort of coloured paper. Very pretty paper pack, this one. And they are going to come on here. Now how I'm going to do them is I have got some old pieces of manila folder, or excess I should say, they're not old, excess pieces of manila folder, and I will just cut them down so that I can create a pocket, because I want the pocket to be standing out from the journal. I don't want it to be flat, because I want to put lots of things in it, and if it's flat I'm not going to get lots of things in it. So I'm just making the things so that it will stick up from the journal and give me some room to put all the things that I'm going to try and make to fit in it. It's actually quite warm today in Brisbane. It got quite cold a couple of days ago, and of course then we had a bunch of rain overnight, yesterday and overnight, and now today it's just glorious again. So there you go, you can never tell. And we are in the middle of winter, so therefore you'd think it would be a bit cooler. Not that it gets that cold in Brisbane, but it certainly does get cool. Oh, I notched that the wrong way. Cut that the wrong way. So I'm going to make the other one the same, and that will be on, just might flatten that out so that it can dry. That'll be on the front, and I know it's looking a bit sort of, you know, same, but it won't once I get the things into it, because I'm putting things in this manila and other sort of colours, so I will it will pop more than what it does at the moment once the embellishments and things get into it. But right for now I just want to create the pockets, and then I will move on to creating the ephemera that's going to go into it. That's the pockets done, and now I'll move on to the embellishments. Now I've just got some more of that manila folder out and chopped it up into bits so that I can create tags and things with it. Might have to chop some of these down some more, but let's do some that are already done. And I did want to see, where's my journal? I did want to see how far down it's going to go. So that's, you know, see, you can see there's plenty of room in there. So I need to work out sort of how many I want. These ones are still stuck together a little bit, so they'll become shorter. And possibly 1, 2, 3, 4. I might need a couple of longer ones. Here's one here. That is too long, so I'll trim that off. Skinny one. I've done different sizes, and I've done that on purpose. I probably need a couple more longer ones. I seem to have plenty of this sort of size. These are just off-cut, so I'm just cutting them down so that they fit. And I probably need some shorter ones too, I would think. Let me cut some shorter ones. I'm just hand cutting these with the scissors. Yeah, because I want some variety on the heights. I don't want them all to be the same height or thickness. So this is ground espresso in the Distress Oxide spray. And I also have gone and bought a new spray bottle because my other one broke when I dropped it on the ground, and I've been sort of struggling using little ones and finally got sick of that, so I bought a big one. And now I'm just going to do some dipping. So just dipping and getting some colour on these tags so that I don't just have plain manila tags. And I'll just do the fronts at the moment. I can go back and do the backs of them later, or I can leave the backs of them so they can be written on, which is probably a good idea. This one's got a little bit of sticky stuff on the end, so I'll take that off, and I'll just sort of dip in different places. It's important when you're doing this that you don't drag. If you drag, you'll get a drag mark. You have to dip and just go down and straight up again. And also, if you've got too much out on your board, like I might have put too much out, you can just dip some things that you're not going to use this time and have them ready for next time. So you don't have to just dip what you're doing if you've got too much stuff out. And I'm going to cover some of these anyway, so I might cover a lot of it, but I think it's always good to start with a base. It kind of breaks up that space, really. It gets you going, or that's what it does to me. It's like looking at a blank tag versus actually doing something with them. Now, because I've got stuff left, I'm just going to dip some of those other things that I put to one side before, so that I'm using up all of my supplies, and I've put it out there. I've paid for it. I may as well use it. And the other thing I'll do is I've got some paper that I want to use, so I'm going to dip some of this as well, give it a bit more enhancement, even though it's very old already and it's got lots on it. I think that's probably good. And I've got some music paper here which I'll just grab, and I'll dip it as well. Just move that one out of the way so I can get in here. Just soak all that up. Okay, now this is a map that I got when I was in the UK, and it's actually a cloth mat. You can probably see it's not paper, it's that plasticky sort of cloth, and it's falling apart. And I bought it. It wasn't very expensive, but I bought it because I thought I could use pieces of it. And it's actually a map of Suffolk. So it's quite old. It's for tourists and cyclists. And I love the, I have to make a book with that as the cover, I think. Now I'm going to work on embellishing these, and I've got some things out, and I also have pulled out a few more things, and things that I haven't even used yet. So I've got these tickets that came in my last lot that I got from Tim Holtz, and I probably tend not to use them so much, or haven't used them at all yet really, because I've got my own sort of vintage tickets, and these are real ones. So I tend to go with using my real ones rather than the ones that I'm got there from Tim Holtz. But maybe I'll change that today and use some of his mixed in. Because once my vintage ones are gone, I'll have to try and source some more. So just see what he's got in here. Like maybe this one, I was looking for something with some blues in it. There's one there that's got some blues, because my cover is like that, blues and reds, although I don't have to use the same colours. Let me just pull this out. Okay, at least I'll use one of them today, so I'll put this one to one side and I will get going on doing some decorating. I've got a few other things I've pulled out of his as well. Some vintage tags, or salvage tags these are called. I'll get some of that as well. So with this one here, this is the long one, and I thought that I will just cut the edges to make them into tags. So I'm not going to measure, I'll just chop. And I could even put something like that on the top of it, couldn't I? I'll just tear some of this music paper and stick down, because I want to decorate the tags and things I'm putting in here first. Otherwise, you know, I can just stick plain ones in, but that seems all a bit boring really. And I have inked them, and I said that I would probably ink them and then put stuff over the top, and that's kind of what I'm doing, so that's fine. Put this one on here. Let's put a piece of this map across here. Could use it all as is, but I think I'd rather just use it in bits. And it always helps, I think, if you trim the sides then. You don't want necessarily to have things sticking out. I think that's gone a bit crooked, that's okay. Not quite dry, that's why. Sliding around there a little bit. And I'll put another little piece of something. What have I got? A bit of this. Yeah. Bit of that vintage paper up there as well. And this piece is a bit thinner, and so that hasn't gone through, but that one has. And that's okay, I'm just going to have to live with that. I will set an eyelet as well. I've got these really great red eyelets that I haven't really used before. Maybe this is about using the eyelets, rather using the things I've got, I should say, rather than anything else. Sometimes I forget, because things are, you know, in the cupboard or whatever. In fact, I've just done a slight rearrangement to my craft room, and I have put some containers that have places to store things where I can stand things up. I've actually put that where I can see it, because a lot of that stuff was away and I wasn't actually using it because of that. So now I'm just trying to use things more. Let's get this in here first. There you go. I think it's a lot better because I can see things, and if I see things I tend to use them more. If they're stuck in the cupboard, not so much. I'm wondering if I should put this one on top like I was going to. I think that'd be nice to have two of them like this, although then you won't see the eyelet. Maybe I'll do that on another piece where I don't put an eyelet. So this one will just tie up. And then I'll trim that off so that it's like that. I'll just grab the book and see that this is going to look okay. See what I mean? That I said that you would have some contrast when the tags go in. So there's one of them. I think that looks fine. Let's do another one. I've got the big one that's got to go up the back there, so I'll do this one next. And again, I'll just sort of randomly chop the corners off so it's a bit of a tag shape. I need to clean my surface. It's looking quite messy at the moment. And I do have a piece of that. I'm not sure I want to use that though. So let's move on and see what else we've got. Oh, I've got these. These are just the bits from the other pieces that I've got. They're just bits and bobs. Yeah, I think I'll use that piece because this has got some writing on it rather than just the bottom of the page. Quite like this little strips that have come from books, and I've just torn the edges off them so that you get this nice sort of vintagey look. And this is actually a stamp. You tear this bit off. This is a Tim Holtz piece that I've stamped, one of his stamps. And in fact, I think I'm going to tear the bottom of it off to get that raggedy edge as well. And the edge. So these are just bits that I've done, and I store them in this plastic so that when I need things like this, I can just grab them out and then just trim off, and then you're done. I might put something else on yet. Let me just see what it looks like once I've trimmed it off. I think that looks fine. I'm not sure that I'm going to do anything else to it other than a little bit of ink around the edges. And then if I run my sponge like this, it'll catch the edges of that paper as I'm rubbing it back and forth. So I get, let's stick this down a little bit more. So I get that sort of colour on there without having to do each individual strip. And the paper's thin, it's harder to do. Okay, that's very cool. And I might put this pop of red on here. So I'll just keep it loose so you can turn it and look under here. You can take it off, whatever you want. And it'll give that pop of red to the cover. See how that's going to go. Yeah, that's going to look good. So again, I'll just use the tag as a guide and put this through. Actually, I could do it on the cutter. Let's see. I'll make a mark and then I'll use this to punch it in. And I'm not going to put a thing on here. An eyelet, not a brad, an eyelet, because I'll tie it up with that string again. So I'll just get a piece of string a bit smaller this time. I'll just do one tie through it. Okay. Oh, it came out. I wasn't paying attention. Let's put it in again. Maybe I will tie it like this to have a different look rather than just putting it in like that. And that will also give it plenty of room to move around. So there's another piece to go in there. I think I'm just going to do that. That looks very cool. So that's all I'm doing with this one. Put some glue around the edge. It doesn't come off. And I have gone to the trouble of putting the ink on there on this piece of manila folder. So I really want to sort of maintain some of that. I will just cut this corner off and then rip the bottom piece off like that. Yep, I think that's fine. I don't think I need to punch a hole in this one necessarily. I have this piece, which is a piece that I made ages ago, and I'm going to put it onto one of the manila tags that I inked up. I'm actually going to put the inky side on the back of this tag. Let me just put it on. I'll have to cut it down. It's a little bit too big, but it's fine, because this is quite thin, this music paper, and I want something that's going to give it some sturdiness, because it's got to live on the front of the journal, and therefore it needs to be quite sturdy. And that's why I'm backing it onto this manila piece of manila folder, which is really cool the way that's come out. Look at all the, can you see the colours in there? You've got like reds and greens around the edge. That's very cool. So I've made 3 little tags to go in here, and I want to put a number on top of them. And what I have here are some claim checks. So these come in 3 parts, and this is the top part of them. I'm just going to cut this up, and then I'm going to ink it so it's not quite so white, and put it on the top. So I've got 10, 11 and 12 on my little baby tags. It also will show that it's something whoever is using this journal needs to explore a bit further. So I've got 10 down there, and then I might just ink them before I put them on actually, so that they're a bit easier. They get a bit fiddly actually. And then I think I've got this one is 11, because I made them slightly shorter than each other so that they would display well in the pocket. And I do like numbers. Numbers will always look good, I think. That's my opinion. And you notice I'm not putting them at the top. I'm just putting them down a little bit. I think they look nicer there. Otherwise they interfere with the angle of the tag. 10, 11, and then just one more to go. Let's go to 12. Okay. So that looks really cute, and that will also go in the front pocket. And now I need to do a couple more. Get rid of some of this mess, push that away. And I might do a bit more of this music sheet, I think. Similar to what I just did with the other sheet of paper. Just put a little bit on there. Yeah, I do like that. Okay. These are just very simple things to do, but they make a world of difference. So a bit of ink and a bit of music paper, and you've got a really, really lovely little embellishment. Whereas if you just have the plain manila tag in there, that'll look fine, but it just won't have the same impact as a bit of music paper and a little bit of ink does. This is another piece from the Tim Holtz stamps, and I'll put this on here. And then I've got a little piece here which says words and phrases, which is from a book. Okay, I'm going to put this down. I don't really like the way I tore that edge, but I still use it because I can recover that by putting something over the top of that edge. This one is like a number from a library book, you know, the Dewey Decimal System. Now that means I'm going to have to rip this ticket, and most of it won't be there, but I can cut it and save it for something else. In fact, I'll put this in my box of this, where all those sorts of things are living, and then cut this out. See what we end up with. So I've popped all these little tags in here, and I think that it looks super cute, and I had put a couple of tickets in. I didn't end up using the ticket that I pulled out of the Tim Holtz thing, but I am going to pop it in there, and I've just got a little baby paper clip. This is one of the Tim Holtz mini paper clips, and I'll pop that on the top there, so you've got that. And then this is one of my vintage tickets. So I will take another of the little paper clips, I think, and I'll put it on here. Maybe I'll put it down the bottom so we've got a bit of variety. Yeah, I'll put it on this one here. And then when you're journaling, or if you're giving this as a gift, the person can take these off here and they can use any or all of this inside the journal. They can journal on the things that are on the outside and just pop it back into the pocket. And it's quite a lot that's gone in there. So that's great. Thank you very much for the idea, ladies. I really enjoyed that, and I'm definitely going to do some more journal cover ideas because I'm on a roll now, and I've got lots of ideas in my head to share with you. Until next time, this is Deborah. Cheers.